What's up, motor people? Today I'm going to show you how to take some cool night photography photos involving your car. Some of the tools we're going to use is a simple stand, a camera that you can adjust the shutter on, and we're going to play around with a high-powered flashlight, an LED light, and a single handheld flash. As you can see here, yeah, it is daytime right now, but it's just so I can set the scene of what is going on and where we're positioned at. At night, as you'll see, it's very, very difficult to see what I'm doing. You'll see kind of some flashes of light in the video as we go through it. But this is just to show you how to be a little bit more creative with some of your car photos. Again, use this to your advantage. Play around with it. This is not perfect science. This is just you trying to get some really cool pictures of your own project, future project, or brand new car. Is that we're going to go ahead and position the car. And as you see here, I do have a beautiful backdrop of the mountains, a lot of rock formations, a lot of character that's going on behind me. And you can still see there's a lot of trees that you can kind of grab in the background if you're able to shine light on it. So the first thing we're going to do is actually use the flashlight, and we're going to go ahead and do what's called light painting. The car is set up exactly where we want it. I have the camera set up ready to go, 20-second timer, and since this camera is older, we don't have the option for a remote trigger. So I will use the self-timer on the camera to take one single photo. So I position myself ready to go. I wait for the shutter to go off, and now once I hear it go off, you're going to see me slowly exposing the car to the camera using the light. Slowly making the light appear all over the vehicle, all over the side, everything that you want the camera to pick up. Now you'll see me hitting the back of the mountain to make sure that I can pick that up in the camera as well. So once the shutter closes, you can go ahead and check your work, and let's go ahead and check out how these photos came out. As you can tell, the first photo, it's completely washed out. Also a good point to remember that if you're putting this much light on the car, you can expose all of the little flaws on it. This car wasn't washed before this and hasn't had a polish in a long time, as you can easily tell. So let's look at the second photo that we took using a little less light. Now, this one shined only on mostly the driver's side of the car and some of the mountain side, but also take note that it looks a little messed up. Well, what happened was there was a little gust of wind that hit the camera just enough to cause it to be distorted like that. So just keep that in mind as well when you're working with long exposures. The final photo we took was just focusing on the car itself. As you can tell, we didn't put any light on the back of the mountains. I enjoyed this picture the most just because they did highlight the car only, and as you can see, with using just the right amount of light, you really can't tell that much detail of how bad the paint is or all the swirls in it. Now we're going to use the LED light. As you can see me coming into frame there, it's a simple little LED light that you attach to the top of your camera. And here, I'm going to hold it up right over my head, as you can barely see there, and just walk a straight line across the length of the car and towards the front. Now, as you'll see when the photos are exposed, that it will create a really good lighting effect. This is the first photo using just the LED light walking across the length of the car and the front. As you can see, it came up very, very well, and exposing just enough light on the asphalt and the car itself. The lines in midair I was just playing around with, facing the LED light at the camera, but also using my hand to block out the light to create the second line over to the right. So this is something else you can play with, write some really cool stuff in midair, but let your imagination run wild with that technique as well. Let's move on to the next photo. So here's a second photo we took, and the final photo using the LED light. As you can see, this photo had the exact same problem where just a little gust of wind hit the camera while it was exposing the car to it and distorted it slightly. Again, putting a little bit of light on the car and the surrounding area, I actually had to run across the mountainside to get that exposed since the light wasn't strong enough. But again, not bad just for using a simple $20 LED light.
Now the final one using the flash, same thing, same setup, put on the timer, and you'll see me popping off a couple flashes. This flash has a manual trigger that you can just hit in your hand. At this point, I'm just kind of running around the car as quickly as possible, highlighting everything I want to get into this photo. So again, you're going to just play with this to see what the best amount of light is along with the strength of the flash. The first photo attempt, as you can tell, the flash was not bright enough. It only was able to capture the part of the rear of the car and not even the back of the mountains. So on the next photos, I bumped up the power out of the flash, and we'll see how these photos came out. The second photo, I used a medium amount of power out of the flash. A lot better than the first one. You can actually see the whole car this time, but again, not 100% where we wanted it. So the last photo, I bumped it up to maximum power to see what that one would look like. Now with full power, you can clearly see the whole car and some of the mountains in the background. Again, this is just to show you how you have to play with the lights. Even the distance that you use will affect how much light is coming out there. I know some of these corners are washed out a little too harsh, but this can also be changed around if you have a soft cover, light filter. It's something to put over it so it's not so harsh. So using the techniques that I showed you today, I took one last photo combining the LED light and the high-powered light and making the shutter speed go to 30 seconds this time. Now what I'm trying to get here is expose the car with the LED light, expose the mountain with the high-powered light, and get those extra 10 seconds of shutter to capture the beautiful stars that were out there tonight. Let's take a look at the final photo, and the photo that I'm about to show you is just straight out of the camera, no editing whatsoever. The stars came out great. The mountainside did get covered with light. Actually, I do like the way it came out with the patches of light kind of all over the place. Here's some key points also too where editing the photo later will come out. Is as you can see when I hit the light by accident on the bottom towards the mountainside, it caught my shadow there along with the red streak of light. That's actually the light blinking off the GoPro camera. So little things to take in mind when you're shooting stuff like this. If you're trying to just do it one shot without using Photoshop or any editing tool, that type of stuff will come into play. And here's the final photo with a little bit of Photoshop work, taking myself out, the red streak out, and I even changed the sky to a little bit of a purple tint to kind of let the stars pop out a little bit more. These photos are available on MotorCarNow.com, that way you can see them a little bit better and see what they came out like.
All right, motor people, well, I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial on how to take some night photography with your own car. We did everything here with a tripod, a camera that you can adjust the shutter speed, and different household lighting items. Most of these items you can find on eBay, Walmart, Target, Harbor Freight. So follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and also tag us. I want to see, using the tips that I showed you today, I want to see what you did with your cars. Don't worry if it's not a show car. Don't worry if it's just a simple little car that you drive every day but that you love to death. That's all that matters. Is we want that enthusiasm for your car and for the automotive world. So until next time, this is Alfred. Again, shoot me an email, alfred@motorcarnow.com, for any questions you have, and we'll see you next time in the next video. Thanks a lot.